Apex Legends is a battle royale style first-person hero shooter. It is Fortnite 2.0 essentially, taking the battle royale style game format and adding a ton of new improvements to it. You play as legends, which have 3 unique skills that you will use in your team of 3 to be the last team standing out of 20. Apex Legends is an extremely smooth game with responsive controls that allow for high-speed combat and movement. The visuals are decent and familiar, as it is the typical pseudo-realism look that you see in Western shooter games like Call of Duty. The improvements that Apex makes are things like removing the spam aspect of the game that other Battle Royale games always seem to have for their skill ceiling, such as Fortnite's spam building or Minecraft Hunger Games spam healing. This makes battles hinge largely on positioning, teamwork, preparation, individual skill, and a little bit of luck. Teams will often either clump up together to maintain concentrated damage and support, or spread out to flank the enemy from multiple sides, while another teammate draws attention with subduing fire. Other improvements would be the resurrection system, which allows for executed teammates who had been killed after being downed, being able to be respawned at a res station, so long as you retrieve their banner from their death box a minute after death. This creates an interesting dynamic in which a single player can respawn both teammates in the event they were killed in a fight that he had managed to escape or win, so long as he retrieved their banners. Many enemies will not wait a full minute around a death box to ensure that the banner is not retrieved by a teammate who may or may not be in the area or even be alive themselves. Weapons, save for 2 legendary weapons, are all the same level and are upgraded through mods you find on the map. There's a diverse amount of weapon choices, with different strength in terms of range, ammo usage, and amount of possible modification slots. Currently, there seems to be a major balancing issue with certain weapons, as some will require several clips at close range to kill an enemy, while others can kill an entire team with 1 clip at almost any range. Your entire team getting 2-shot by a single enemy across the map in the span of 20 seconds by a pistol, while your own weapon will only do 1/3 of an enemy's health bar at 30 feet before needing to reload, isn't exactly a fun or balanced experience. The layout of the map is quite well done, with areas allowing for a mix of long to close range battles. Loot is distributed in a random yet spread out manner that allows for people to gather decent gear from almost any part of the map they choose to start on, with different regions having more loot priority than others, resulting in certain zones being landing hotspots for people looking for a fight early to retrieve some of the best loot immediately in a high-risk, high-reward scenario. The deployment of where you land can be done on your own or as a group, as a member of your party is chosen randomly to be jump master and can control the landing of the jump. They can also give this right up to other team members at random if they so choose. Team members can also ping where they would like to land on the map, either through line of sight or on the minimap. Pings. Pings are a major improvement on the Battle Royale formula, as they allow for a surprisingly wide range of communication among teammates without requiring a mic, and even at times surpassing the communication a mic can offer. You can ping where you want to go, where the enemy is, what attachments and items you need, what ammo you need, that enemies have been in an area recently, where an item is that your teammate might want. So many things can be communicated through the way pings work in this game. It is very well done. Teammate pings aren't even the only heads up you'll get in the game either. When it comes to tracking your team's needs and situations, as there are a number of visual and audio cues that tell you when a teammate is being fired at, when they get hit, when they are firing at someone else, you will never not know the situation your teammates are in, even when they are far away from you, as you can always see their location and know when they need to be revived or retrieved. Rounds in the game are dictated by a timer that slowly encloses the area in a ring that will damage anyone outside it, with the damage increasing depending on the round until you enter the new zone. This gives loot areas a limited time to clear, as they might not be available during the next round's closing. The areas of where the ring closes are clearly marked on the map after each round, as are the locations of teammates, structures and terrain, soon to land airdrops, and where res stations are. Legends and their abilities are decently balanced, with no character feeling particularly over or underpowered. Abilities themselves, while being able to give a slight edge under the right circumstances, are not something that you'll be able to rely on solely to win a fight. Apex seeks to streamline itself so efficiently that it makes looting so much simpler, as your character will be able to immediately pick up items you need and will not pick up items that are lesser than the ones that you already have. For example, if you have a level 2 helmet and you go to pick up loot and a level 1 helmet is included in that loot, the game will not allow you to pick up the level 1 helmet unless you directly de-equip the level 2 helmet from your inventory. This makes it so you can walk up to a bunch of loot and try to select everything, and all the loot equal to or less than your current equipment will not be picked up. Now, it is still possible to pick up attachments or ammo you do not have a weapon for, but there are notices on these items before you pick them up informing you as to their value to your current loadout. Looting new guns and attachments also requires a brief second of holding the looting button to prevent accidental looting of a gun you do not want to switch to, so you can always almost entirely loot everything in a short amount of time. Looting fallen players is also made simple, as their gear is neatly organized in a death box that allows for you to select what you want and what you don't want in a short amount of time. There are also backpacks in the game that expand your inventory space to hold more ammo and items, so being selective with your ammo, grenades, heal item ratios is a factor that players will have to decide based on their own personal playstyle. There are 3 grenades in the game. Frag, which works like the traditional grenade and will act like a ball when thrown and explode in a few seconds to deal damage. Arc, which is a ninja star type that has less of an arc and will act like a sticky grenade with a mix of damage and flashbang properties. And lastly, the thermite, which will leave a fire trail to impact damage over time zoning. Heal items come in 2 main groups that heal health and shields. Shield cells and syringes heal a small amount of their respective bars. Medkits and shield batteries fully heal their respective bars. And lastly, the rare Phoenix kit will heal both bars completely. Heal items will take a few seconds of uninterrupted time to work, so in order to use one during a fight, you will have to find safety or cover that will last you however long it takes to heal in that moment. This is a good example of proper balancing and encourages some degree of risk-taking and reward in chasing down a wounded enemy. Now, for the problems with the game. For starters, the game does have a rather large amount of bugs, glitches, and issues that really hurt it. Desync is extremely common, with 1 out of every 5 or 6 games often having a team member or entire team lagging to an annoying degree that is very noticeable in a game designed to be played so smoothly. A real nasty revive bug that forces players who have been downed and picked up to move as slow as a snail's pace for the rest of the game. A bug that kicks players from a game and leaves a "party leader left" message on their screen no matter how many games they play until they close out and reopen the game. There are a large number of bugs that I've experienced and I've seen other people experience, but those are among the most prevalent. There are other bugs that I've experienced a number of times, but don't really have that much time to go over. I have seen a number of these affect other players, and including one that I've never had experience myself, such as one in which down players will randomly start shooting at enemies. But ultimately, I expect a lot of these to get patched, as it is still a relatively new game. Another issue is the weak lore and characters, as their backstory and design is so uninspired and lazy that it could be any cookie-cutter characters from any Western-based shooter, based on their design and lore. Nothing about them makes you care or even like them. They come off as inconsistent as to their reasons for being in the games. Essentially, they're walking stereotypes of themselves. I swear I cringe every time the robot says, "Don't forget to breathe. That is, if you have a respiratory system." Based on the characters' designs, it's fairly apparent that the designer follows some rather hateful ideologies, as some of the only information that we have on characters is that 2 of them are LGBTQ+, 2 more are non-binary. Out of the 2 black female characters, 1 mimics a modern feminist in their hairstyle. There is 1 white male, but he's locked behind a paywall and is a toxic camper that gasses people to death. Honestly, the more you look into the references to the designer's wokeness, you'll find that they seek to check every single diversity box while pushing some rather hateful, bigoted stereotypes like the fat Hawaiian, white chick, emo, weeb, psychic edgelord, and the toxic white man. Now, with all that being said, the voice acting and some of the lines are actually pretty good, but it still suffers overall from character design and writing. Some more problems that would be the lack of a button mapping on the controller and no push to talk for it, although I do appreciate the addition of a voice gate open mic option. I also spoke about the unbalancing of the unbalanced guns, so I will instead focus on the currency and grind. Essentially, I hate it. Leveling up becomes a massive grind that takes a long time with little to no reward. Loot boxes can only be gained a few times between level 1 and the cap, so expect to pay a lot of money if you ever want to get some skin or banner that you want. Most skins are rather boring recolors for the most part of a character's clothes, so there isn't much to really want out of the cosmetics, as they're lackluster and boring. Legends need to be earned either through, you guessed it, spending money, or after grinding weeks to barely earn enough to afford one, using another form of currency that unlocks legends. It makes sense that they use this somewhat predatory style to force you to pay money to get things, as Apex is a free-to-play game, but I do believe that it can be toned down a lot more and make earning things less grindy and have more interesting rewards. My conclusion is that while a trendy cash grab that lacks in the creative department of art, writing, and individuality, with major bugs and some balancing issues, Apex Legends is an extremely smooth, fast-paced, refined, leading pinnacle of Battle Royale genre, with its gameplay completely dominating its competitors. Joining a team of complete random strangers for a quick match has almost never had this level of response, cooperation, and fun. Apex Legends owes everything it has to its phenomenal gameplay, knocking it out of the park, as it would have never survived on its other, more mundane aspects. That's it. Hope you enjoyed my Apex Legends review. I know that it's still early, so a lot of these problems might be fixed in the future, but this is the current state of the game now.